Testing, testing, 1, 2, and 1 and 2, and need the perfect. All right, let's go ahead and get over here. So let's see what we got going here today. First off, we're gonna pop that old disclaimer up there. And let me go ahead and go down here to our watch list. Wrong watch list, but that's what's currently moving at VSIG. Let's go ahead and look at the watch list though. All right, so this is what I'm seeing on my watch list. I got VSIG up 141%, VIBS up 33%, ARBB up 19%, and then everything else is pretty much null and void, 0% and down. All right, so these top three, let's go ahead and do a little bit of research and see what their backstories are. Flip back over to this. Okay. All right. So starting off, let's go with VSIG to start off the morning. U.S. and China declare a 1-year trade truce after Trump and Xi talks. Okay. So that means that there's going to be a lot of relief in the market from these talks, right? They got a truce for a year. So that probably means that they're not going to get hit with tariffs like these other countries for a whole year. So there's going to be a lot of relief in the market. Let's go and look into VSIG's profile. Make sure y'all are looking at the same thing here. Yep. Okay. All right. So amounts as of these. Oh no. VSIG Global is together with its subsidiaries provides business and technology consulting services in Malaysia. So this is a Malaysian company. It operates through business strategy and all of that. Okay, so it was founded in 2013 and is headquartered in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Okay, so I think that's already noted. I think I've seen this one before, and it's probably already noted as a Malaysian stock. So yeah, let's go to the next one. VIVS. VIVS. Those Asian stocks, man, they be killing. So this one is VivoSim Labs, a pharmaceutical and biotechnology services company, provides testing of drugs and drug candidates in um, three-dimensional human tissue models of liver and intestine. It offers partners liver and intestinal toxology insights through its new approach methodologies, NAM models. Okay. This one, the company was formerly known as Organovo Holdings, and it's changed its name to VivoSim Labs in April 2025. VivoSim Labs Inc. was incorporated in 2007 and is headquartered in San Diego, California. Okay. It's $2.95. American company dealing with 3D modeling, basically. 3D modeling and probably biological statistics. let's see. Up here, it is a healthcare biotech, and it's got 13 employees. All right, so the next one is RE, or not RE, ARBB. ARBB. Good morning, Hebrew. We're on the third one, ARBB right now. ARB IoT Group Limited, through its subsidiaries, provides Internet of Things system solutions and system integration and support services in Malaysia. So this is another Malaysian company. I don't know if that's a theme for today or what, but we just saw that VSIG was up from Malaysia as well. This one, it offers IoT smart home building solutions such as design, procurement, and provision of smart home products and devices, integration services, and electrical wire installation and home data network setup for homeowners, as well as provide smart building solutions including design, procurement, installation, testing, pre-commissioning, and commissioning of various IoT systems. So IoT is Internet of Things, and basically it could be smart home devices. It could be, TVs you can talk to. It could be camera systems, all of that kind of stuff. It says it offers IoT smart agriculture solutions, such as designing the layout of the smart farm for the application and integration of IoT in farming and hydroponics, which includes the procurement of sensors, surveillance cameras, and all of this, as well as other hardware. I need to see, did they get like a contract or something on ARBB? I'm not seeing any kind of contracts or anything, so interesting. But we got our top three: VSIG, VCIG, which is a Malaysian. And let me notate that as well. So let me add the notes. And this is going to be VCIG, Malaysia. It was changed its name. Products 2013. Oh no, didn't change it. This is the one that changed its name, but it was founded in 2013. It's had a little bit of trading history, and it is basically working, only with Malaysia. Looks like so. Malaysian company. 2013. It's up 138%, but that doesn't even mean anything. We want to make sure we do our due diligence. Activate. But we did see the other Malaysian company that was up too, so I don't know. It might be a little trend. Let's go ahead and notate what VIVS is. VIVS. So this one is the one that changed its name. So this is the Oregon 3D the 3D modeling company that works with biological statistics. Okay. So this one is out of San Diego, California. And I put in 3D modeling of organs, bodily organs. And it's been around since 2007, but changed name in 2025 to VivoSim 2025. Okay. So that's that note. So San Diego, California, 3D modeling of let me spell that right. Edit 3D modeling of bodily organs. And so it was incorporated in 2007. Incorporated. All right, so San Diego, boom, boom, boom. All right, that's there. And then the last one is ARBB. 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 This is a Singapore company. Okay. I thought it said something about Malaysia. Am I tripping? Um, okay, well, not Malaysian. This is a Singapore company. My bad. On ARBB. So let's add a note over here for this one. It does Internet of Things. It is into agriculture. Let me see the keywords in here is what I'm looking for. So Internet of Things, automated systems. IoT, automation, agricultural solutions, and farming and hydroponics. So any of these keywords could come up somewhere else, and we'll see. Sensor surveillance, designing software, blah blah blah, periodic maintenance. Okay, I think I got all the keywords. The company was incorporated in 2022, and it's out of Singapore, Singapore. Okay, so everything is noted up for these top three. These, let's see, so BCIG has 21 million shares traded. BIVs has 12 million shares traded, and then ARBB only has 1 million shares traded. So the focus is probably going to be on these top two for pre-market unless something else really comes out. Now we know that yesterday Powell had the pre-recorded video that played and kind of gave his intake or his excerpts of the rate cutting. Yesterday during the day, the market was just up, 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 and then it had a huge slam down, and it came into kind of like some congestion where people were just kind of trying to. I think the insiders that had the news before, those reporters that got the news and actually spoke to him, they had already delivered the news to the bigger corporations or companies or whatever about the rate cut before retail saw it. And I believe the slams that were in there were retail trying to come in and react to that pre-recorded video on the later news. So just staying out of the way of that yesterday and letting all of that play out. A lot of the focus yesterday was on the larger caps: Nvidia, Meta, Google, Microsoft, AVGO, and TSM. And so today, now that we kind of got a little bit of relief on these rate cuts, we're about to head into a new month, still in the shutdown though, and we're gonna see, where things are gonna go. And tomorrow is the 31st, October 31st. So we got 2 days until November 1st when all the SNAP benefits and all of that is cut off. So we will see how the world turns then. All right, but anyway, we got our top three. VCIG just going on down right now. Made a high up here of 552 and has given back about a little over $1. So Malaysian stock just going on down there. Now these not candles, these not trend lines, but the price levels that are up here, these are from a long time ago because they're marked with 5 minute, 15 minute, and all of that. So I'm pretty sure I looked at this before. It came up into all of these levels, hit them, and went down because I haven't looked at the daily chart just yet. And that's actually what we need to swing over to is the daily chart on VC. Make sure y'all are seeing the right screen. Yep, y'all are. All right, so VC. Yes, we have seen it before, and this is where I had marked it back here as a Malaysian company back here in 9/30/2025. It was making its way down, and now has come down even further. Closed yesterday at 173. Came back into these previously traded levels, but it's nothing really obvious in the short term here. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear. Actually, if I clear the draw, it'll clear my Malaysian company there. So I'm going to remove, and remove because I don't really care about those. I just want to see something obvious in the short term. That's what most people are focused on. So bottom down here, this previous spike was 352. 352's down here. And then above that, the next level is up here, 721. But it went up to 5. It didn't even go all the way up there. So 350s. And I'll go ahead and move. Oh, I got 2 marks here. So I just marked it again, Malaysian company. It's going to be marked up Malaysian company. All right, let's look at the daily chart for VIVs. VIVS up 33%. VIVs closed at 228. Has a level up here 3. It's kind of got a lot of work to do though. I wouldn't consider that just a real spike. I would consider that more like a double top there at this level of the 350. So maybe some strong resistance. Daily double top. Edit. So not a peak, but just a daily double top. Okay, daily double top, and then we have level up here 424, and then a level up here of 530s. So this I would consider a peak daily level. Okay. And in between this, I don't know what this is at 421. It could just be an interesting level. So not really a peak or a double top, kind of just a level of resistance is what it looks like. So that's what we'll call it. Daily resistance. Well, daily possible resistance. On that one. And then let's jump over to ARBB. ARBB, this was a Singapore-based company, closed at $6 and is now trading around 7 something. What was the highs during pre-market? It went up to a high of 1038. So kind of out here in no man's land, really. We see a previous level here, not really a peak, just kind of could be some daily level. We don't know if it's resistance or support at the 896. So I will activate, or not activate, I will name this. This could be support or resistance. Not too sure, it hasn't been tested on the daily. Daily support / resistance, because we don't know what it is. It is up 27% right now, but let's go ahead and jump over here to, now that we've looked at the daily charts, jump back over to the 1 minute. And we can see where that daily support and resistance was. We don't know if it's support or resistance. It did test it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then has been holding below it at that 896. So it looks like it's got some resistance verification after going through it this many times and failing it. Looks like that, but we'll see during I guess during intraday or something. VIVs, we have our levels out here at 347. Daily possible resistance at that 421. And then above that, peak daily level was at the 531s. So almost reached the peak, fell off of this resistance level at 421, and then has a double top here at the 347. Okay. So that's what I see right now. And I'm about to jump over and we can go through some of the news. Now that we've done our due diligence on each of these stocks, we know where they're from. We know their daily levels, if they have obvious levels. And yeah, let's go check out the news. Good morning, Senate. Kai Senate. Let's see. So U.S. and China declare one-year trade truce after Trump-Xi talks. Trump-Xi meeting promises lower tariffs and a relationship stability. Trump Nvidia chip talks with Xi didn't cover Blackwell. Eli Lilly jumps as weight loss drugs drives Q3 beat. Metzera soars as Novo offers a $6.5 billion to challenge Pfizer. OpenAI preps for juggernaut IPO at up to $1 trillion valuation. Meta, Microsoft test investors' patience as AI spending spree. Chipotle stock plummets as it cuts sales forecasts again. Europe's economy shows modest growth of 0.2%, held back by laggard Germany. C.H. Robinson AI strategy boosts for 2026 financial forecast. What are rare earth mineral? Okay. Swedish AI startup Ligoro raises 150 million at 1.8 billion valuation. Global car makers brace for production cuts on chip shortage. Trump's big concession to Xi is loaded with red flags. Travel tech firm Navan set for NASDAQ debut after 923 million US IPO. Let's go see what they're talking about over here in the news here. All right. So this one says Meta stock falls on earnings. 2 reasons investors are spooked.
Great as always to see you. Let's start off with Meta here because I'm looking at the stock down about nearly 6.5% here, Aaron. What do you make of the report? What do you think explains the disappointment here, at least initially?
Yeah, it could be a combination of the tax hit, as you explained, kind of a one-time in our view, as well as I would say the expenses up a little bit, both on operating expense guidance for the remainder of the year, as well as the CapEx slightly increased as well. So that might be concerning for investors that may want to see some rationalization on the expense base. And so we'll have to look on the call for more disclosures there. But top line was strong. I would say they beat on the revenues for the quarter, ad revenues. The guidance for the quarter for Q4 also relatively strong, although largely in line with street expectations. But I would say revenue is good, maybe some noise around some of the expense issues as well as the tax hit.
They are seeing that full year CapEx, just to put a number on it, Aaron. It looks like they're calling out for between 70 to 72 billion. Is that roughly what you had penciled in?
Yeah, it wasn't far off. I believe last quarter it was 66 to 72, so a slight increase at the kind of the mid to high end of that range versus previously. I think investors want to hear on the call, though, in terms of kind of what this CapEx is going to be used for. They talked about potentially cutting some of the expenses around AI in terms of headcount. I think investors are still want to see what the ROI is on some of this CapEx spend. It's a little bit less clear for Meta versus an Amazon or a Google who's really spending that CapEx on cloud, given the strong demand those companies are seeing.
Some bulls come on, Aaron, and they said, listen, the CapEx spend makes sense to them because they say, well, we see where AI is having an impact in this name. You know, we see it in the user engagement, we see it in the ad business. Do you see that?
Definitely for the core business, we do think it makes a lot of sense continuing to spend CapEx and AI for the core business. I think our point is on the non-core business, the super intelligence investments, less clear how they're going to monetize that at this point. It's obviously a multi-year plan as they talked about, but I think investors want to see a little bit more concrete data, concrete thoughts on exactly how they're going to monetize some of these non-core areas.
So that having been said, Aaron, about, listen, we've got tax issues, expenses, CapEx. Having said that, you remain bullish on their name. You tell clients this one's a buy. What are the catalysts ahead that you see here?
Yeah, no, still expect continued strong revenue growth. Obviously, another quarter of 20% plus ad growth we saw in Q3. Q4 guide implies another 20% growth. We think it can grow mid-teens top line growth for advertising in 2026. And we think valuation is still undemanding. It does get a little bit more expensive if you look at it on a free cash flow basis, given that CapEx spend. So I think that's maybe where investors have a little bit of hesitancy. But on our GAAP earnings basis, we think we had them doing around $30 of GAAP earnings in 2026, so fairly reasonable valuation given their growth rates.
And so I guess you if you're bullish on the name, then Aaron, you agree with Zuck and you think, hey, listen, there's a huge opportunity here. We've got to invest to capture it, to capture that AI demand.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the right move for now. At the same time, if they're not seeing a good ROI, or I think they need to have that option to pull back a little bit. And I don't think investors would be displeased if they decide not to spend another 30-40 billion next year incrementally on CapEx. So that's the question. I think investors just want a little bit more color. Are they getting a good ROI in that CapEx spend?
I want your take on Alphabet as well. Now that's a different story. Alphabet, well in the green here. We are up 6% in the after hours. Impressive, Aaron, because this stock had already soared. It was up about 40% year to date heading into this print. Now you're tacking on another 6%. Give me your thoughts on this report.
Yeah, so it's really a combination of good advertising growth, as well as good growth for their cloud business. So I think Google for a while was perceived as a cloud loser or AI loser, and now they're being seen as a kind of a clear AI winner, both on their advertising business as well as for GCP. And I think GCP has been doing a nice job. Looks like they grew kind of mid 30% range for GCP, another very strong quarter there. And so that's starting to get a pretty healthy multiple as well. We think you can give Google Cloud Platform kind of high single-digit revenue multiple on the business. And we were at a $310 price target for Google, but continuing to see good ad growth. We're not too worried about competition on the ad side at this point, continue to monitor that. But a combination of good ad growth plus good GCP growth, investors are willing to pay a higher multiple for Google today versus a few months ago. Plus the regulatory side looks to be.
All right, let's see. Hebrew says USAR rare earth. I think that the stock is going to start back running now that Trump settled the deal. Let's go look at USAR. 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 Now, one of the things that I do like to take in note when they're going over these things in the for the large caps and things like that, as the large caps soften, we usually see an uptick in small caps. And so since yesterday was such a big day for large caps, these following days are just kind of the peter out. You know, kind of like when we have small caps that pop and then they have this big day and then they kind of just, if they're good, they'll peter off and then kick back up. If they were trash in the first place, they probably just go on back down, kind of straight line. But with large caps, it's not that they fall a lot, it's that they consolidate a lot. So I'm looking for these large caps to consolidate now and let some of the news and things digest. Two of the ones that they just mentioned was Meta and Google. So those two I want to kind of continue to watch, see if they're finding some consolidation, see if they're getting to a point where, Google is up 7% right now, but 7% is a lot different from the small caps. So looking for that to just keep punching down till it gets back to that 1 to 2% range. But USAR, that's where we're at right now. Let's jump over to. Actually, let me duplicate this so I don't destroy that video. Duplicate USAR. Let's go read up on it. All right, so USAR Rare Earth Inc. engages in mining, processing, and supplying rare earths and other critical minerals in the United States. It explores neodymium neodymium, dysprosium, terbium, gallium, beryllium, lithium, and other critical minerals. Now, lithium, okay. The company holds interest in the Round Top Mountain located near Sierra Blanca, Texas. U.S. Rare Earth Inc. was founded in 2019 and is based in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Okay. And it is this one of those? Yes. Let's see, does it do any dividends here? Those dividends. USR Rare Earth. A lot of mining companies do dividends, but we'll see. Yes, I'm a human. I am a human. Can't be found. That's a trip. All right, resubmit. Wow. You gonna do me like that? Okay, there we go. USAR. Boom. So not a dividend stock, but let's go and look at this daily chart over here. Oops. Daily chart on USAR. So USAR traded back here. Let's see, looks like it kind of started getting some trading motion in 2024. Went up to 43 bucks. Has this gap here that it could fill. So previously it had a gap in here. And ended up filling this gap. Daily gap. Daily higher gap. Level. And lower. Let's go ahead and remove that. So it looks like it filled this gap here. And then it gapped down to 20 something. So I'm wondering, could it come back and retest this 23? That's a $3 move back up if it were to do it. It came down to the bottom of 1930s. So it definitely has some space and opportunity in here. Let me get my little box out here. This gap right here could be something to watch back up to that 20. Now, like you said, the deal has been kind of spoken for. And we'll see how it ends up holding over 1929s. This is a little bit younger looking stock. When was it incorporated? I don't even know, but it looks like the trading got started around 2024. So maybe a year old, may have to show its true colors, but I don't know. Maybe it will go back and test that 2350 gap level because it does look like it is filling gaps. Let's see. So let me go back over. Hebrew called out CMBM. Looks good too. CMBM. CMBM. So this one, this looks like is this CMBM? Let's go over here to the daily chart for CMBM. Okay, so CMBM has been trading down, has a couple of gaps up here to try to fill. Closed yesterday at 295, went up to a high of 423. Let's go read up on it. CMBM. Okay, So this is Cambium Networks Corporation designs, develops, and manufactures fixed wireless, fiber broadband, and enterprise networking infrastructure solutions in North America, Europe, and the Middle East, Africa, the Caribbean, and Latin America, and the Asia Pacific. The company offers fixed wireless and PON XGSPON based broadband, Wi-Fi, and local area networking switching infrastructure, and security gateway solutions for a range of applications such as broadband access, wireless backhaul, Internet of Things, public safety communications. Okay, so they pretty much are an IT company. They're covering pretty much every part of IT here. Let's see. It serves the healthcare, education, hospitality, military communication, mining and minerals, multifamily living, national law enforcement, oil and gas, public safety, residential broadband, small business, smart cities. Okay, so yeah, these are, I mean, it's all of IT basically. CCTV, security cameras. The company was formerly known as Vector Cambium Holdings, Cayman. Now, Cayman, is that talking about Cayman Islands? I don't know. Cayman Limited, and changed its name to Cambium Networks Corporation in 2018. Cambium Networks Corporation was founded in 2011 and is headquartered in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. Okay, so that is definitely a IT, looks like an IT powerhouse. $2. It jumped up from $2.95 up to $6.89. So looking back over here at the daily chart, it is not here anymore. It is actually at this gap. So over this gap, 657. It's right inside of this previous gap. And the top of this gap was 750. Well, look where it hit. So the top of the gap was pre-market today. It hit a high of 768. And if we look over here, the gap fill was at 764. So it went 4 cents past this gap and filled all of this today. Okay. And it found a little bit of resistance there at that 764 level. Let me mark that up. Oh boy, that's off. 764 gap fill. And we'll say gap fill level on the daily gap fill level. Okay. So, and then if we go back over here and look at this, you can see it came right up to that level, tapped it right on down. All right, let me jump back over. I'm not seeing any other small caps, still seeing the same ones that we saw earlier. VSIG continued to grind down. It had a little downtrend started here right at the 5, and now it's at 394, so that's out of scope. VIVS, this is the San Diego company, went up there to 506. No real clear structure to the downside. The upside, there are a couple of ideas here that could be looked at. Got one here. We got, looks like there was some type of something there. We got this one. Oops, well, I guess that could have worked. So basically I go through and I'm looking for the ideas to the up or the downside for the trend, right? All right, and we got looking for those peaks down. Okay. And then for this side, it's kind of hard to tell. This is pretty steep. There was something here. Yeah, but other than that, it's pretty steep. All right, well, we'll see how that goes out of San Diego, California. Another Internet of Things mover. $3 and something. It is out of scope for me. I'm really looking for things over 5. That's where my safe space is, where I can really control the risk. But it's got 12 million going towards 13 million shares traded right now. Meta still going down, Google still going up. So I will keep eyes on them. And let's go back over to continue to learn about what's hot today. Where's the focus in the market? Right now, I just got Meta and Google up here. So let's continue.
Off the table for the most part.
A big question around search, Aaron, right? Looking ahead, how much of a risk does OpenAI pose long-term, in your opinion, to that core search business?
Yeah, it is a risk. I mean, clearly close to 1 billion people are using kind of OpenAI or ChatGPT on a monthly basis. It's for a lot of younger users, they're using it pretty frequently. At the same time, Google has said over the last couple of quarters, users continue to use Google AI or Google and AI overviews, a driver of increased search activity as well. So at this point, we think ChatGPT has been more used for informational search versus commercial searches. If you think about commercial searches, whether it's e-commerce, travel searches, we think those are still largely being done at Google. I got to imagine ChatGPT, Perplexity, others have ambitions to get more aggressive on that side longer term. So something definitely to watch for. But at this point, we don't think Google's been losing share, at least continue.
All right. So Senate was asking about Microsoft. Now, Microsoft doesn't look like it's still going down. Let me switch over to the 15-minute here. Okay, so Microsoft had a pop down yesterday from 557 down here to 513s, but I mean, this looks like it's starting to be an outlier. Kind of looks like that way. Had a triple bottom down here at 506 before. Okay, and lifted out of that, and that's on the 15-minute. Went down there to the 513. So I'm thinking if it breaks down 500, then sure, it's probably going down. But this is a lower, or this is a higher low than that 506. And I would be expecting it to hold. I don't know if it's just going to hold flat above 513 or if it wants to bounce. But these are not small caps, so I would expect it to hold flat and kind of find some stability before making this next move. Also, let's look at the overall market as well here. Overall market is looking still very, very bullish, but still within this kind of smacked around range from yesterday. Went up there, had big indecision spikes and all of that, and that's what we wanted to avoid, which we did on Wednesday. And now it's kind of just consolidating sideways. People trying to kind of recalibrate. All right, let's continue on here.
The growth search at a pretty healthy rate.
Henrietta, it's good to see you. Let's talk China, first of all, and what we've been seeing come out of Asia in terms of the rhetoric that seems a little bit more positive. So what should we be looking for to see if that rhetoric turns into reality?
Right. We really want to hear from the Chinese delegation, want to hear President Xi confirm that there's maybe going to be some purchases of soybeans, which would be a major relief to U.S. farmers who are struggling under what they're calling Farmageddon right now. A focus on what China says is going to be most important. They have some different language than what we're hearing from Treasury Secretary Bessent and from President Trump. So we're going to want to get confirmation, which probably won't come until Thursday of this week. But definitely looking like we're going to get basically a rewind and a reset back to where we were more towards the beginning of this year, before the escalation threats of the last month.
And what about, in particular, some relief for farmers on the soybean front, right? That we've talked to some farmers. I know that's an acute sort of point of tension between the U.S. and China. So expect any breakthrough there?
This is the critical piece because, of course, not only has China retaliated for President Trump imposing these tariffs when he took office, but they actually have never lived up to their phase one agreement reached during his first term. So China has quite a bit of room to make purchases and grow that they have been spending the last 8 years diverting away to Brazil and Argentina, much to the chagrin of U.S. farmers. So that dynamic is really going to be a lifeline to President Trump specifically, and it as read through to the U.S. shutdown. If China buys soybeans, then the president is under a little bit less pressure to reach a deal with Democrats that could compel them to give some funding for a bailout package domestically. So one of these two things has got to give.
And what about on the rare earths front or rare metals front? What do we expect there? That some sort of negotiation, something worked out?
Yeah, so kind of like I said at the outset, what we're looking at is maybe China reeling it back in as well and saying, okay, the very aggressive restrictions on and licensing requirements that we were going to require will maybe delay. Treasury Secretary Besson is sort of alluding to potentially a year-long delay. There are officials from Beijing going to negotiate something very similar with the European Union right now to clarify to global market chains that they're going to provide magnets, chemicals, and rare earths that they have a monopoly on while the U.S. is perpetuating this trade war. So a lot of damage control, again, resetting to where we were earlier this year.
Meantime, Henrietta, we have this, continue to have this weird flip on its head of traditional trade relationships, where here we are talking about potentially coming to a framework for a deal with China, where at the same time, you know, the president was upset about that ad out of Ontario, featuring President Reagan. And now we've got higher tariffs on Canada potentially. Do you really expect that to go into effect?
Yeah, I mean, this is really where we get into a question of the Supreme Court case, which is going to have oral arguments next week. The president is imposing tariffs because he didn't like an ad that correctly depicted Ronald Reagan decrying tariffs and explaining that they have a massive regressive impact on U.S. consumers and end up hurting free trade, hurting the U.S. economy just as much, if not more so, than anybody else. So the president's ability to unilaterally impose tariffs wherever he sees fit and whenever he sees fit, at whatever rate, is really the heart of the matter of the Supreme Court case. And I think, frankly, from a legal perspective, he hurt his standing going into oral arguments next week. And that's going to be a major topic of whether the president should have this authority at all.
Henrietta, remind me, how long is that case expected to go? You know, when can we expect a conclusion?
My base case is that we'll find something out in mid-December. The Court of International Trade and the Federal Court of Appeals both found earlier this year that the president does not have this authority to impose tariffs. And they found that from start to finish of their cases in less than 35 days. So there's a lot of optimism in the legal community that we might get this done before mid-December, which would be, lightning quick for the Supreme Court. They don't have to give us a verdict until next summer. But given there's about $4 trillion on the line, people want to know what's up.
Yeah, they definitely do. And speaking of a lot of money being on the line, the shutdown is still happening with you're in a better seat than I am. Any glimmers of hope anywhere there?
I can't even be kind about it. No, there's no hope. There's no forward progress. The House Republican Conference is going to be out all week. They're not even going to be in D.C. With the president over in Asia and not willing to use the auto pen, he will not be signing a bill to reopen the government, even if one comes to his desk. The Democrats are going to be coming back to D.C. They'll be holding press conferences. The whole caucus will be there on the House side. But there's no shakeup in negotiations. There are some federal workers unions who are calling for a vote on the clean CR and for that to pass and reopen the government for at least a little while. But basically, until late next week, I expect we're going to be closed.
There's Apple. I think
Tom, always
Senate
great to see you. So we've
mentioned
had
Apple.
a number of recent positive headlines about Apple, Tom. You look at the market cap here, we are right back, knocking at $4 trillion. Bottom line, how strong is the iPhone cycle, Tom? What do you see? What are you telling clients?
Yeah, so the way that I think about shares right now of Apple, there's clearly a lot of good news built into the shares. So the company, when they gave their outlook for the September quarter, was anticipating strong demand for iPhone 17 to the extent that they were guiding to mid-single digit to high single digit revenue growth. So now the question is, when they report on Thursday, How did they do? Did they exceed expectations? What does the December quarter look like? So it isn't clear to me that the iPhone 17 is a part of a major upgrade cycle, that AI super cycle that never happened. But it does seem like there was some pent up demand for at least a new iPhone, and it's at least performing within that up 5 to up high single digit expectations management had outlined.
You know, Tom, some of your colleagues on the street, I know, other analysts who cover the name, I know what they're watching. They're watching lead times for these iPhones, and they're telling clients they remain extended, and that's why they're optimistic. What do you say to that argument?
Yeah, good point, Josh. So on the lead times, I'm wondering if the data isn't what it used to be, meaning that if you think about it from a supply chain standpoint as it relates to tariffs, Apple's essentially assembling iPhones in India instead of in China, and then assembling other products in Vietnam for sale to the US. And then for sale of rest of the world for iPhones and others, they're still relying on China. So I'm wondering if the data is therefore different, an apples to oranges comparison to work Apple in there. And I wonder if that's affecting the performance. Because I still think that Apple has a huge challenge in China from a competitive standpoint. They get about 10% of their sales there. And in addition to those AI challenges, I think they have pretty significant competitive pressure in China. So the lead time data may not be as bullish as some people think it is.
We're going to soon find out, Tom. Let me ask you this, kind of a bigger, broader question. Plenty of Apple skeptics, Tom, who said, listen, this company does not have a compelling AI story, AI strategy. It poses this kind of existential risk to Apple. But it feels like investors right now, Tom, they're willing to look through that. And I'm curious what you make of that.
I think the willing to look through part is that the iPhone is still 50% plus of revenue. So to the extent that iPhone 17 may be doing well, just because consumers were ready for an upgrade and not because there's a compelling AI reason to do so, the iPhone can move the needle on earnings, given it's still the most important product for Apple. So yes, there's existential risk, but then the question, Josh, is what's the hardware that's going to be the conduit for AI for consumers? Are we finally going to find something beyond the smartphone? I don't think we're there yet in any of the AR, VR stuff, including Vision Pro for Apple. But I think that's still a question mark as far as what's the hardware that's going to drive all the AI usage in the future. And it seems like the smartphone will still have a role, maybe less of a role than it has today.
Okay.
We have.
All right. Get to that in just a minute. All right, so let's look back over here. VSIG, just kind of playing up on this trend. I'm looking for it to possibly come and break this down at the 380s. It's got a nice little trend there, and it's got another idea down here too. So we'll see which one of those ends up holding up. But I'm looking for a breakdown on that one, on that Malaysian stock. It's up 135%, continuing to draw people in. 24 million shares traded. People trying to buy breakouts, people trying to buy dips, people trying to buy all of this stuff, looking for the moon. So, I'm just sitting back, chilling, waiting for something that can actually go to the moon. VIVS, VIVS. Went up there, and I had drew a couple of ideas that I saw down here. It wasn't a whole lot up top, but there was some on the bottom, and it looks like it did treat those levels as some type of resistance. Came back down here to what looks like is about to be a break point back under like 29 or not 2090s, 290s, going down to 275s on that one. Only 13 million shares on that. And then we see VSIG coming up here and turning around as well at the 425s. The point of control is at 434 right now. On the 5-minute is at 475. And then on the 15-minute is at 406. So 406. 406 there. all the way up to 475 is where the spread is for these points of control, which is huge. That's a big old level for shorts to take action, for it to break down. But anyway, Malaysian company just kind of, it's just absorbing all of the volume of the market. Just, that's all it's doing. Meta's still diving down as well. It's almost down 10% now. Google has slowed down a little bit as well, sitting around 9%. Right under the 299 mark for Google. Meta, on down, man, on down. Apple was one that they just mentioned, but it doesn't have a whole lot of trading on it. It's not up big, it's just up small green, so I'm not too worried about Apple. I really was more focused on some of these bigger moves, 9%, almost 10% on some of these large, or these two large caps, Meta and Google. Right, so we're getting that turnaround. We want to see it go ahead and make its way on down and break this 390. See if we can get something better up here. ARBB, this one, Singapore IoT. Had a couple ideas up here. Had some ideas down here too. Oops, wrong thing. Ideas down here too. The 643s. But it's not even up 20% at this point. No really clear ideas down here that received any volume, so not too sure back there, but we'll see. VSIG back to $4. Meta is on sale. Yeah. One Life's about to sell his house and go jump into Meta. Meta at $683, headed on down. What does the daily chart look like on Meta? Let's see. So Meta overall, it has come, well, it was at 751 yesterday, but now it's all the way down here to 680s down here. And we'll see what does it want to continue down a little bit or what? It's got previous gaps down here to the 620s, but that's a long fall down there to 620. It's got levels down here at 677. So I'm not sure where it wants to go. If it wants to continue to trend down or what. We got another one that just popped. This is a cheaper one. CMND up 22%. Slowly coming up. It's a cheap one though. And it doesn't have a whole lot of volume. I don't like it. It might end up just flashing down. It's a low float, but yeah, I'm not too sure about that. It's coming up to 1 million shares traded. Hit a high up here of 126. It does have some type of catalyst. Clear Mind Medicine completes first cohort treatment in its FDA approved phase 1/2A clinical trial for alcohol use disorder. Okay. So this is an alcoholic type move here, and I'm just not I'm not too super excited about that one. VSIG continue to break down the $4 level, getting under those points of control. We'll see if it squeezes down that point of control so it can get a little bit thinner and move down from that 475. But right now it's got a big old resistance level up here, and we got a new downwards idea as well on VSIG. So right here, new downwards idea on this little peak up and headed down here to see if it can hold those 390s. VIVS starting to break down this 290 level as well. We're starting to see more and more weakness. CMND almost to 1 million shares traded. It's probably going to get over ARBB here soon. If it can. It's right at around $1. Super cheap. It just passed 1 million shares traded. Went up there to 127. Let's go look at the daily chart. Closed yesterday with a ATR of 6 cents. Look at this wickiness. Let's see. So it had a little 120 up there, and that's pretty much where it keeps hitting and coming back down at that 120 level. Has a level up here. That's like 10 cents, a 10-cent move, but that's big for this little stock. So, which is not great. We don't want that to be the big 10 cents. Now it's coming back down to 110 and doing a full turnaround now at 10%. 10% down there to the 110s. VSIG continue to operate below that point of control level. VIVs coming back up and testing a previous uptrend, and we'll see if that holds as resistance right there at the 3. .3D modeling of bodily organs is Catalyst, and I'm just not too in love with that one, man. Not too in love with much of anything that I'm seeing today. So I think today will be more of an intratrade day. If something can come through and really start holding up and really be a gainer. But we got to remember, this is the end of the month. No reason to spin the wheels for no reason. So VSIG coming back and challenging the bottom of this box here. $4. Previous level right here at the 416s. It's got 31 million shares traded. This is a Malaysian company. But yeah, it's just soaking people up, it seems. VIVs just reversed, treated that previous uptrend as resistance, that previous idea, and now going down. ARBB just on that struggle bus, looking like it wants to break down the 675s again. Senate says Meta needs to hold up 680s. And then he says LLY is up this morning. LLY. Let's see. Let's see. Is that Lily? Oh, Lily. All right, so it closed at 8:09. Does it have news on today or something? Let's see. Yeah, it's got Eli Lilly to invest 1.2 billion in Puerto Rican plant expansion. So that's a repeat of that news. 1.2 billion into a Puerto Rican plant expansion. It says it sees EPS is up. Third quarter, yeah, okay. Well, it's moving. It's moving. It did a little gap up, but I don't know if the I'm not currently in the know about this stock. It looks like it's in big consolidation. Let's look over here at the daily chart. So it's been coming up for a while. Had a gap down, completely filled this gap, held in this gap and shot up to 813, and then all the way up to 872, so a little bit above this previous high here, and then came back down to 830s. So right around the tops of these levels here, 835. Okay. We're looking for those low floats, man. Where are they? They may not be here today. All right, so coming up here, VSIG finding a little bit of resistance, trying to exit this little downtrend idea. And we'll see if it gets back below 4. VIVs ended up breaking on down to new lows, 280, struggling. ARBB, big move down to this level at the 669. So right at that 675 level, looking to break down. So right on that idea. Everything's real sweaty. You bought that gap down in August. Oh, I know you're doing good then. On Lily, oh, I know you're doing great. Excellent. I haven't built up my faith to buy gaps like that. Oh man. I know they usually feel, but I don't know, man. It's a lot of patience in that game. CMND all the way back down to 2%. And that's what I was saying. These lower price ones, just killers, man. Only up 1% now. And we still are stuck with these top three that we've been looking at this whole time, basically. All right, so I'm about to jump back over here and look at the news again. Let's see what else they got to say. Does low rate volatility signal economic concerns? Let's do it.
I've seen the 10-year that's now firmly below 4%. During the spring Liberation Day tariff announcements, we saw that shoot up. What is the bond market telling us? Is this just investors pricing in more easing? Are there any concerns about the health of the U.S. economy? How do you look at the moves in rates?
Yeah, so the point on rates volatility, I think, is extremely crucial because me as a person who looks at charts all day, what's very interesting is you'll find that the stock market, for example, has a much stronger correlation with rates volatility than the rate level itself. So that just reinforces the point that the volatility or the certainty is sometimes a lot more relevant than the level itself. And one of the few reasons why the rate volatility has been low, particularly I would say in the last 3-4 months, is the Fed has been on this like path for the last 8-9 months where they weren't easing, they weren't tightening rates, so they were like on hold for pretty much 9 months, from December last year to September of this year. When the Fed's doing nothing, I think bond investors find it hard to deviate too much from the priced in Fed path. That is one of the biggest reasons why rate volatility has been low. But then there are other sort of factors as well where, because the administration also wants lower rates, and yet investors are concerned about some of these steps on fiscal excesses.
Fed independence, that was a big question.
Is part of the debate. So investors are grappling with this idea where they want to push for higher rates based on concerns on independence, based on concerns on fiscal excesses, but they also understand the administration has tools to keep rates lower. So it's very hard to go too far in one direction. And that's why if you look at the 10-year yield, it's been stuck between 3.8% to 4.6% for the better part of the last 12 months.
All right. I think that's the last one, the last video. So let's flip back over here. So ARBB still floating above this level of the 671s, but now getting such low volume that it's almost not feasible. Only up 14%. Now, a couple of days I have lost. Well, I have gotten money on some of these low volume ones, but I haven't taken the profit because I'm thinking, hey, volume's gonna come in. So I can show you some examples of that here. The last two trades that I actually took, one was on SLMT and then one was on GNPX. So we can actually look at how the money did during this. And I just didn't take profit. I was like, man, this thing can definitely shoot. So SLMT was one that I got into. Low volume, the lowest I went down was like 82 bucks. Was right around my my average, what I want to lose. I don't want to be losing more than 100 bucks pretty much. And it came back, swung back up here to 106. And I was like, okay, this is what we're looking for. This thing can swing out and get irrational. And it just kind of grinded around weekly and ended up stopping me out. And this was on low volume. You can see how unclean this move was, but I was looking for just a nice clean shoot up out of this level. The other one that I took a loss on was GNPX. GNPX, again, same story. This one did a direct offering while I was in it. So I got in, didn't really go too much red. It went up. I was up 28 bucks and I was like, okay, this is low volume though. I'm waiting for the volume to come in. Went up to about 58 bucks. I was like, okay, waiting for the low volume to come in. And then it went down. I was down 49 bucks, but that was well within my loss percentage to hold. So I held through that. It held twice, 46, and then it came back up. I was like, all right, now we're about to go ahead and try to break that peak. I was back up 40 something bucks and then a direct offering, bam. So definitely stopped me out, hit my little loss down here. And I was like, all right, I'm out. But Yeah, some of these low volume movers, I like the high price, trading the high prices because I can control my losses a lot better than the low prices ones. And the only reason that is because of sizing. So low price ones, it's very easy to oversize and get in there and just be like, oh yeah, man, I got, 4,000 shares. And then they do a direct offering. And now, you're looking at quite a bit of a loss there. This loss was, I think this one was 40 something cents or something. 42 cents. And then this one, I stopped out green. But this one, it actually jumped over my stop a little bit. So I actually lost a little bit more than expected. It was supposed to be around like maybe a $60 loss because I was working my stop up, but it went down and jumped that stop and kind of got me for a couple more cents. So I was like, it is what it is. It is the market, the beast that we trade. But looking out here, ARBB is doing that same type of setup where it is a high price stock. It's up 12%, but it isn't giving me a lot of confidence, and I'm probably not going to end up trading this one. It's a Singapore, and I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Needs more volume. VSIG. Oh, VSIG. What happened to you, VSIG? It got through our downwards level there. Got back up here to 428. And we have seen this idea here, which it kind of tested again, tried to fall through this 397, and then came back up here. So this will be another, if it comes down, it'll be another idea downwards. So is VIVS just continue to just go down. I'm just not in love with that catalyst, that body organ modeling and stuff like that. It needs to get a partnership or something. Something with somebody big. Anyway, back over here to VSIG, where majority of the eyes are. 32 million shares traded on it. And now it is becoming another downwards idea here. Right through here. Point of control has still not moved, still 475 down to 406. So now we'll see, hey, will this end up holding or what? This is a little idea for uptrend though here. So we'll see what it wants to hold. Does it want to respect this little uptrend of this building or not? Oh man. So One Life says, let me see. He says, if you can dump money in a speculative crypto and wait, you can dump money into a blue chip and wait. Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been doing. Like, I'm like, I mean, just use it as like a savings account because the money's still there. It's just invested. And when it comes to these stocks, I mean, I'm like, hey, during these dips and things, these times of uncertainty, I'm just adding. I'm adding to crypto and I'm adding to my regular stock portfolio. So I'm just like, hey, let me just get a little bit more. And sometimes I don't even find new things. I just add to the things that are already performing well. And if they're performing, I'm like, hey, I am here to give you a round of applause. Yeah, this one is tripping. It is 7:14. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to shut it on down. I'll keep my eyes on the market. It's a little bit better day to trade than yesterday seems. Maybe we'll see an intraday mover or something come through. I don't know why ARBB is gapping around now. It's got this big old gap from 681 to 698 that is probably going to end up going back down and filling. VIVS, a little pop-up as well. So we just gotta see what ideas end up holding up. But for right now, I'm not seeing anything that I'm just in love with. The main thing that I will be waiting to fail is VSIG. And if it doesn't fail, if it does end up holding up and people continue to focus on it, then I know it's just another day for me to sit on my hands. But if it does fail, I'm gonna be there looking for that next fish to come in, do my due diligence, and be ready to attack. It is coming back down to the bottom side of this 406 where that 15-minute point of control is sitting right here at 406 after failing to go through up there. Breakdown point right now is the $4, so it's 12 cents away from the breakdown point. But anyway, I'm about to get out of here. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We did our due diligence. We looked through the news, and you know, we kind of know what's going on in the market. We're not in here just rushing and doing all that. We're just kind of slow rolling it, especially after a day like yesterday. It'll be a different thing if this has just been a hot week or something and, you know, things are just jumping. That's different. We're not there right now. We're just temperature testing. So, yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Definitely keep your head on a swivel. I will update in the Discord. The Discord is free. There should have been a link dropped into the chat for the Discord. We continue conversations about, you know, different stocks that are popping up, the different moves that the FOMC or the Feds are making, you know, all of that. I mean, we got options trader in there, Mike D. We have people doing small cap trading. We have people doing swings. We have people doing pretty much every type of investing, crypto, everything in there. So we kind of come together and say, you know, hey, these are some obvious things. What do you guys think about this? You know, if your ideal is good, I mean, it will definitely probably hold up. If it's trash and it's like, I don't know about that, because what we're doing, so basically in any chats or any type of group or anything like that, people are going off of the statistics that they've seen. So they're like, based on the statistics that I've seen, that isn't going to work. It's like, okay, well, what are those statistics? What have you taken these types of trades, or is this something that you just completely avoid? If they completely avoid it, well, they don't have stats on that specific thing, right? So that's why I tell people, look, I may say it's trash, but if you have stats to prove that your thing works, what can I do, right? Those are your stats. If I don't have that trading data, all I can do is just hate. But yeah, we're going to continue to push it on up, play defense on the end of this month, and see how next month goes as well. But that's it for me today. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.